the importance of an emergency fund, and how to save your first $1,000. Have you ever had one of those moments where life suddenly surprises you with an expense you never expected? Maybe your car breaks down on the way to work. Maybe your phone stops working right before payday. Maybe your dog gets sick, or your rent increases unexpectedly. In those moments, many people feel panic immediately because they don't have extra money set aside. That is exactly why an emergency fund is one of the most important parts of budgeting. An emergency fund is money you save specifically for unexpected situations. It is not vacation money. It is not shopping money. It is not money for the newest iPhone or expensive shoes. It is money that protects you from financial stress when life becomes unpredictable. Many people think budgeting is only about restricting yourself or saying no to everything fun. But in reality, budgeting is about creating peace of mind. It is about giving yourself control instead of constantly worrying about money. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is thinking they need to be rich before they start saving. That is completely wrong. In fact, people with lower incomes often need emergency funds even more because one unexpected expense can completely disrupt their finances. Imagine someone named Alex who works full-time and earns enough to cover monthly bills. Every paycheck disappears quickly between rent, food, gas, subscriptions, and eating out. Alex keeps telling himself, "I'll save money later when I make more." But then one day, his car battery dies unexpectedly. The repair costs $350. Since he has no savings, he puts the expense on a credit card. Now he has debt, interest payments, and stress on top of the original problem. This situation happens to millions of people every year. An emergency fund acts like a financial shield. It helps prevent small problems from becoming major financial disasters. One reason emergency funds are so powerful is because they reduce emotional stress. Financial stress affects relationships, sleep, confidence, and even physical health. When people live paycheck to paycheck with no backup plan, every unexpected expense feels like a crisis. Think about the difference between these two scenarios. In the first scenario, your car repair costs $500 and you have no savings. Your heart starts racing. You panic. You borrow money or use a credit card. You spend weeks stressed about how to recover. In the second scenario, you already have an emergency fund. You calmly pay the repair bill and continue your life normally. The problem still exists, but it no longer destroys your peace of mind. That is the true purpose of an emergency fund. Many financial experts recommend saving 3 to 6 months of living expenses eventually, but for beginners, that number can feel overwhelming. Hearing someone say you need $10,000 or $20,000 in savings can make people feel hopeless before they even start. That is why your first goal should simply be saving your first $1,000. $1,000 may not solve every problem, but it creates a strong foundation. It can cover many common emergencies like car repairs, medical bills, emergency travel, or temporary job loss. More importantly, it builds confidence. The first $1,000 changes your mindset. At first, saving money feels impossible. But once you prove to yourself that you can save $1,000, you begin to see yourself differently. You stop feeling trapped financially. You start believing that long-term financial stability is possible. The challenge is that saving money is often emotionally difficult, especially in today's world. Social media constantly encourages spending. Everywhere you look, people appear to be buying new cars, traveling, eating at expensive restaurants, and living luxurious lifestyles. Many beginners compare themselves to others and feel pressure to spend money just to fit in. But what people don't see are the credit card bills, loans, and financial stress hidden behind many of those lifestyles. One of my personal opinions about budgeting is this: financial peace is far more valuable than looking wealthy. Some people spend money to impress strangers while secretly struggling financially every month. Meanwhile, others quietly build savings, invest wisely, and create long-term stability. The second group may not appear flashy, but they usually experience much less stress and more freedom over time. Saving your first $1,000 starts with understanding where your money actually goes. Many people think they have a major income problem when they really have a spending awareness problem. A simple real-life example is coffee purchases. Imagine someone spends $7 every weekday on coffee and snacks during work. That may not sound terrible, but over 1 month, that becomes around $140. Over 1 year, it becomes more than $1,600. This does not mean nobody should ever buy coffee. The point is awareness. Budgeting is not about removing all joy from life. It is about spending intentionally instead of automatically. Another beginner mistake is trying to change everything overnight. Some people get motivated after watching finance videos and suddenly create extremely strict budgets. They stop all entertainment, stop eating out completely, and attempt to save half their income immediately. Usually, this only lasts a few weeks before they burn out and give up entirely. A better approach is gradual progress. Small, consistent habits are more powerful than short periods of extreme discipline. For example, someone could start by cutting one unnecessary subscription, bringing lunch to work twice a week, selling in used items at home, and automatically transferring $25 from every paycheck into savings. These small changes may seem insignificant at first, but they build momentum. Let's look at another simple story. Maria is a single mother working hard to support her child. She always believed saving money was impossible because every dollar already had a purpose. One day, she decided to start extremely small by saving just $10 per week. At first, she felt embarrassed because the amount seemed tiny. But after several months, she realized something important. She was building a habit. Over time, she found more ways to save money. She reduced food delivery orders, canceled subscriptions she barely used, and picked up occasional side work online. Eventually, Maria saved her first $1,000. When her child later needed emergency dental work, she was able to pay for it without using a credit card. That moment completely changed how she viewed money and budgeting. The lesson here is that financial progress is often slow in the beginning, but consistency creates powerful results. One of the best strategies for saving your first $1,000 is automation. If possible, automatically transfer money into a separate savings account immediately after receiving your paycheck. Even small automatic transfers help because they remove temptation. Many people fail at saving simply because they wait until the end of the month to save whatever remains. Usually, nothing remains. Instead, pay yourself first. Treat savings like a required bill. Another useful strategy is creating mini savings challenges. For example, save every $5 bill you receive, avoid restaurant spending for 1 week, or do a no-spend weekend once a month. These small games make saving feel more achievable and less stressful. It is also important to expect setbacks. Many beginners become discouraged after making one financial mistake. They overspend one weekend and suddenly think they have failed completely. But budgeting is not about perfection. Everyone makes mistakes with money sometimes. The goal is not perfection. The goal is improvement. Think about learning any new skill. Nobody becomes excellent immediately. Budgeting is the same way. It takes practice, patience, and self-awareness. Another important point is that emergency funds create opportunities, not just protection. People often think savings only help during emergencies, but savings also create freedom. When you have money saved, you can leave toxic jobs more confidently. You can handle temporary setbacks without panic. You can make decisions from a position of stability instead of desperation. Without savings, many people feel financially trapped. A surprising truth is that building an emergency fund often improves overall discipline in other areas of life too. People become more thoughtful about purchases, more organized, and more future-focused. Saving money changes your mindset from short-term thinking to long-term thinking. And honestly, the beginning is usually the hardest part. The first few $100s may feel painfully slow, but eventually momentum builds. Once you start seeing your savings account grow, it becomes motivating. You begin protecting your progress instead of sabotaging it. One thing beginners should avoid is comparing their progress to others. Some people can save $1,000 quickly because they earn higher incomes or have fewer responsibilities. Others may need many months to reach the same goal. That does not mean they are failing. Personal finance is personal. What matters most is consistency and progress over time. Another common mistake is using emergency funds for non-emergencies. Seeing money sitting in a savings account can feel tempting. Suddenly, expensive shoes, vacations, or gadgets start feeling important. But true emergencies are unexpected necessities, not impulsive wants. Protect your emergency fund carefully because rebuilding savings can take much longer than spending it. As your savings grow, you also start building confidence. Financial anxiety slowly decreases because you know you can survive unexpected problems. That confidence is incredibly valuable. At the end of the day, an emergency fund is not really about money alone. It is about security, peace, freedom, and control over your life. And saving your first $1,000 is one of the most important financial milestones you can achieve because it proves you are capable of changing your financial future step by step. If you're starting from zero today, remember this. You do not need to become perfect overnight. You do not need a huge income immediately, and you do not need to compare yourself to anyone else. Start small, stay consistent, track your progress, learn from mistakes, and keep moving forward because financial stability is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built through small, smart decisions repeated over and over again. And your first $1,000 could be the beginning of an entirely new relationship with money. If this video helped you understand budgeting better, subscribe to Budget and Build for more beginner-friendly finance tutorials.